How's everybody doing? This is aka OnStar, and welcome to a special PlayStation 3 edition of Free-to-Play Frenzy. This week we are covering the open beta that just launched of Dust 514, the new first-person shooter from CCP, the creators of EVE Online. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. Free-to-play on PlayStation? What? That doesn't exist. Well, it does. Dust 514 is a completely free-to-play shooter. They do have a marketplace, so I can understand, how people will be like, "Oh, it's going to be pay to win." No, I don't think so. But overall, it's a really fun game. I'll have to go into the economy a little bit for those of you who haven't played EVE Online or Dust in the closed beta. But let me just cover how to get this. Right now it's pretty simple. You get on your PS3, you go to the PlayStation Store, and you download it from there. It's that simple. You'll have to, I think you'll have to sign up for an account when you start the game up, but other than that, you're ready to roll. Character creation, pretty much the same as any thing from EVE. For those who haven't played EVE, there's 4 factions. You pick one, and then within each faction there's 3 races. So it'll be like the base faction race, and then there's 2 little sub-races that you can pick from. They're all human, so you don't have to worry about elves or space dwarves or anything like that. But after you pick that, you get to pick your class, and it's like Arbiter, Enforcer, stuff like that. All that determines is what your starting skill loadout is. So, whether you use a lot of assault rifles or the swarm launchers, which is the lock-on rocket launcher that you get to use. It just picks your starting. Other than that, it doesn't affect anything, because in the game you earn skill points, basically experience points, and then you spend those to upgrade your skills that influence your power grid or your CPU usage on your loadouts, or accuracy or recoil reduction, stuff like that. It's all the same for everybody, so there's no specific advantage over picking a certain class. It's just pick whatever you like, and that's about it. It's just a little cosmetic thing, really. And even then, it's not much of one, because you all start with the same armor, same weapons, everything. So after that, you choose your class, and you come into your apartment. Everybody has this little living area that it's like a graphical representation of the menu system. So you have your loadouts, you have your the menu, the marketplace, you have the battle finder, but you can all access that through the Neocom, which is the menu. And then you jump into battle and you pick your loadout. Now, speaking of the loadouts, this works exactly the same as EVE. So those of you who have played EVE, you know how it works. For those who haven't, what happens is, loadout-wise, first with death, is when you die, you lose your loadout. Now, I can see people saying, "Lose your loadout? What? How?" You buy everything with the in-game currency. You buy multiple copies of everything. With the loadout that I run around with, I usually have 50 of, 50 copies of it. If it's not a blueprint original, which I'll cover in a moment. So basically, you die, you lose one. So you have to keep buying stuff. It's just a way of keeping you earning currency. But that's unless it's a blueprint original, which is marked with a blue name. What that means is it doesn't get destroyed when you die. So you only have to have just the one. Noted, these makes it more expensive, but it doesn't disappear. Now, when you create your loadout, you have your suit, and it's got the slots for typically a light weapon, which is classified as basically anything other than like the rocket launchers or the forge guns, the heavy weapons. So you have a light, you typically have a secondary, which is either a submachine gun or a pistol, and then you've got sometimes 1 or 2 device slots, and then you've got 1 or 2, at least from what I've seen, of 2 different essentially perks or accessory slots. So you've got these slots, but you're also limited by your suit's power grid and your suit's CPU usage. And if you look at everything, it's got a CPU and a power grid drain, and so you can't have more than your power grid will allow you to. So there's a little bit of balancing. There's just like in Eve, there's a lot of min-maxing. So people are constantly sitting there with spreadsheets trying to figure out, okay, I can use this gun, but only if I use this, power grid booster if I have this skill point. And so there's skills you can get to boost your power grid, or you can just buy a better tier of armor that requires skill points. But overall, it's a really complex game. And then once you spawn in, you pick your loadout and you spawn. You just spawn down. Right now, the gameplay I'm playing is it's ambush, which is team deathmatch basically. Before the assault rifle that I'm using, it's got iron sights right now. In the closed beta, it actually had a full-on screen covering reticle. I actually approve of the swap to the iron sights. It makes it a little easier to use, in my opinion. But that's about the biggest change I've seen so far to the rifle. But you spawn in, whatever. There's team deathmatch, skirmish is available, which is sort of a domination type game mode. There's 3 turrets on each side, and your goal is to get in and disable the enemy's turrets so that your ship can get to their point without being destroyed, and you got to protect yours as well to keep their so your turrets can destroy their ship. And so you're just constantly going back and forth, defending yours and attacking them and back and forth. It's like a Six Flag domination match. It's kind of fun, but overall there's a lot of stuff to do in this game. It's a very complex game. It's definitely not a run and gun Call of Duty type. It's a little slower, but that reminds me of this, something else. Not only do you buy all your weapons and whatnot, you buy all of your vehicles. You can spawn in vehicles. There's 3 classes: LAVs, which are like jeeps, tanks, and then dropships, which are basically transport vehicles, aircraft. And so, be careful. They're expensive, and if you lose it, you call it in and it gets blown up, you don't get it back. So, but these vehicles can really turn the tide of a battle. There's a lot of promise in the game. I've seen a lot of people ragging on it for how it is, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. I want to see how it turns out, and I really hope it turns out really well, because PlayStation could use a really good free-to-play shooter. But we'll see how it goes. I really enjoyed it. Check it out. Let me know what you think. But this has been AKA OnStar. Hope you all had fun. Hope you all enjoyed the video. On the right is the previous video, which is Gold Mine for the Scar H and the FHJ18AA, aka the Stinger. On the left is my contact info if you want to get a hold of me.